Hey guys, Coach Warren here, back for another week of Smash. Last week, what we did is we worked on some tightness in our feet and our hips, and this week we're gonna focus a little bit more on the upper body. So we're gonna hit some of those target spots that you may carry some tension. A lot of people carry tension up in their traps, especially if they're stressed out about not being able to go outside or go see friends and family. So we're gonna start with shoulders, work on traps, and maybe get into chest, and if we have some time, hit the forearms too. So what you're gonna need, again, we're just gonna use a ball today. Keep it nice and simple, so tennis ball, lacrosse ball, whatever kind of ball you got. And let's get into it. So the way we're gonna get those traps is we're gonna take that ball, we're gonna stick it right into the trap area here. You can kind of see that's a little bit behind or on top of the shoulder, close to the neck. And what we're gonna do, you're gonna take that ball, you're gonna hold it in place, you're gonna find a corner, so usually a wall. I'm just gonna put my head beside the wall, as you'll see here, and just lean into the ball, applying as much pressure as you can or you want. And I like to let my hand dangle here. So if I hold my hand up here, I feel like the muscle's actually flexing and holding some tension still. So if I let my hand dangle and try and relax, then I can just ease into that spot. Same thing, we're gonna be just holding it there, letting that muscle relax around the lacrosse ball. And I'm pretty tight here right now. So we're gonna take our time, slowly working along with the muscle fibers again. So you want to take that ball and slowly roll this way, and then we can slowly move down and keep rolling this side to side. Don't want to roll aggressively against the muscle fibers. So again, leaning into there, hands hanging down. And you can even tilt your head away a little bit, and that'll open up more of that muscle that you can get that ball into. So now I'm leaning forward a little more, so now it's going more into the back side of the shoulder here. And same thing, find that tight spot, 10 seconds, let it relax. Shift around just a little bit, an inch at a time. Find that new tight spot. And same thing, relaxing, rolling with the muscle fiber, finding any of those tight areas. So now you're gonna, right above there. So you don't want to get into any of the bone's structure in the shoulder. Make sure the pressure is always on muscle and not on bone. Rolling in and out, gonna go nice and close to the spine, but not right on it. And then back out, see if there's any more tight spots in there. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty good for my right side. Just gonna check the top again. Yeah, that's feeling way more relaxed now, way more. So same thing, I'm just gonna turn around and use this side and put my head that way. So now I've flipped around, same thing on the left side here. Letting that left hand hang. Really look around. It's not gonna take long usually to find a tight spot up in the traps here. Especially if you don't do this often. Very likely it's tight. I find it a really hard muscle to stretch. So that's why this rolling technique helps a lot to take some of that tension out of the shoulders. If the ball's sliding around a lot, that can happen with a tennis ball with that fuzzy coating. Just use that offhand to hold it in place. So you can shift around with your hand. It gives you a lot more control of that ball, just so it's not sliding around on you. So working back into the backside, and the trap not just on top of the shoulder. Finding that tight spot, relaxing, and just letting that tension flow out of the muscle here. So spend as long as you think you need here. Some may feel really tight, some might not feel tight at all. If it doesn't feel tight at all, especially with that tennis ball, try and apply some more pressure. If you can, really try and get a lacrosse ball. You're just gonna get way better results than just using that tennis ball. So now we're gonna take that ball and we're gonna switch to the back side completely. So we're gonna roll out the rhomboids, everything kind of around the scapula. So you're gonna take that ball, you're gonna start up above the scapula, so just below where you finish rolling on the wall here, and slowly articulate around that ball in each position. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so gonna grab that ball, gonna stick it right below where we finished on the trap there. Maybe you'll find another tight spot here. You're gonna have to be careful with laying on this ball, especially if it's a lacrosse ball and you haven't done this before. You can add a lot of pressure with all your weight going down on it. So just be mindful of that while you're rolling here. So there's that spot. I can feel it's pretty tight right underneath the trap there, kind of top of the shoulder blade. I'm gonna take that left hand and go all the way slowly overhead. If there's a position that feels like it's sticking or it's getting really tight, you're gonna relax there. And then slowly let your hand keep going past that position. So you're gonna do that, I don't know, 2 to 3 times in each position here. Just until those tight spots try and pretty much start to work themselves out. There might be knots as you go along. So that's 3 kind of flexions of the arm or extensions here. And we're gonna just move about 1 inch. So you're gonna be tracking that shoulder blade, going around with the ball and slowly down through the middle of the back. So I'm gonna roll about 1 inch up. That actually feels quite a bit tighter for me. So gonna really take our time here. Open up. And slowly try and get our hand all the way overhead. So I was getting stuck right at the end of that flexion of the arm. Just need to relax. There we go. That's full flexion. Oh yeah. Can already feel on the third one, it feels way different. My muscle is already trying to relax there. So now 1 more inch, kind of going in towards the spine around that shoulder blade. Make sure you're not putting the ball right on that shoulder blade. If you need to, if you don't have enough room between your shoulder blade and your spine, just pull your arm slightly forward. So just roll slightly forward and that should open up those rhomboids, and then you're not putting too much pressure. Hopefully no pressure through the spine and none through the scapula. So now that I'm down a little bit more, I'm gonna be doing that same thing. So now articulating again, flexing that arm up. My hand's starting to hit the couch there. Okay, find that same spot. It's pretty tight right now already in this spot. Oh yeah. You might feel the muscles overlapping and sounds or feels like a pop. And that's the ball just going across those tight muscles or knots that are in your back there. So at the very top of the flexion, I'm starting to get a little bit of the shoulder blade hitting the ball. So I'm just gonna bring my arm across even. There you go. And you can bring your arm across to your chest as well. That'll open it up even more. And then still flexing that arm. Can even do little snow angels here. So if you want to come up, there I feel like the shoulder blade actually tucks in closer to the spine, so this doesn't work too well for me. Just give it a try, see what it feels like for you. I know flexion's the best for me, especially because I want to go overhead as much as possible with the barbell when I can. Okay, so that loosened up quite a bit. I know for me, once I get into these lower parts, I start to feel some knots that are going to be pretty noisy and popping. It's actually not feeling too bad. Okay, really loose actually. Now right below the shoulder blade, this one can be kind of painful. Be careful with the weight. If it's too much weight, just try and roll away, lift off a little bit off that ball. Okay. Can already feel a lot looser in the shoulder there. Tension's completely gone. Left side feels way different than my right side. So I'm going to move to the right side and do the exact same thing, starting up near the trap and then rolling our way down. Let's see if the right side's, I don't know, maybe looser than the left side or tighter. We'll see. Okay, starting up near the top of the scapula, same thing, just start flexing that arm at the shoulder. Coming all the way up. Feels pretty tight, but not painful. Just gonna move from side to side, see if I'm missing anything here, if I'm on the right spot. Okay, there we go. The ball is just in a little bit of a weird position, so you'll have to play around and get used to where that ball should be sitting. This should feel really good. If it feels uncomfortable in the way that you're getting blockage from the ball when you're doing that, you're probably just off by an inch or so. Yeah, slowly work through those really tight spots. Okay, so slowly working our way down, making sure we're in the right spots. Oh yeah, I found a big knot on this side, so I might spend a little bit longer in this position and do a few more arm flexions or shoulder flexions. Until I can work that knot out. You'll actually feel it work itself out. So that one worked out. I'm trying to push it down, get some pressure on it. And I feel it release right now. So I'm right on top of it and slowly releasing the muscles around it. If you ever had a masseuse work on a knot, it feels really similar to this. There we go. So you don't want to just work right on top of the knot, you want to work around it. All the muscles around it are pulling on one spot. Yeah, and that was by far the tightest spot on my back. Okay. So, just finished up with the shoulders. They're feeling pretty good. Since I'm not spending as much time in the gym, I'm not doing as many rows. I've actually switched up my grip for pull-ups because I grabbed a pull-up bar off of Amazon. But if I do my overhand grip on it, it doesn't want to stay on the small door frames in this apartment. So I have to use the neutral grip, which I didn't think was going to make such a big difference, but I feel a big difference in my forearms and actually in my lat activation. I'm really still trying to suck those shoulders down, but even just that small grip change has made a huge difference. So my rhomboids aren't really feeling like I'm pulling back as much. When I'm pulling up here, there's a lot more tension in my upper back than when I'm here. So shoulders are feeling pretty good. After that, loosening up, feel really good. But been practicing Murphs, I've been doing a lot of push-ups lately, so I'm gonna be rolling out the chest as well. This is a spot that a lot of you are gonna be tight if you don't do a lot of stretching here. So we're gonna use the ball. Same thing, just put as much pressure as you can handle. This can start to hurt quite a bit right away with a lacrosse ball. So if you haven't done it before, start with a tennis ball and then move your way into a lacrosse ball. So let's get into it. And the same thing with this is we're gonna be rolling with the muscle fibers, because our pec is basically moving our humerus from here to here. So the muscle fibers are contracting this way. We're gonna move with the muscle fibers when we're rolling, and we're not rolling like crazy like that. Slowly rolling. If you wanna do a couple back and forth, couple inches at a time, not big, huge movements, okay? So I'm gonna start here, right underneath the shoulder, as close into here as you can feel. You'll feel it right away. It's probably gonna be tight, so let's get into it. All right, so you can see that ball is kind of very close to where my shoulder is. I'm just gonna put as much pressure down into that ball as I can and just let it relax. This is pretty tight for me. Can feel it stretching slowly, but I'm gonna need to do this again tomorrow. I can already feel. All right, same thing, finding that tight spot and letting those muscles relax. You can put your hand back here. That actually will help open up the chest a little more, pulling that shoulder back. All right. Yeah, so it's getting a pretty good stretch here. If you did just want to stretch it, if this is too painful or if you're not really feeling it as much as you'd like to, you can always do a chest stretch. So you're gonna put that right arm down, use this left hand to push back, and just rotate until you feel that stretch. You can kind of play with this hand position, so if you want to come up higher, that's a really good angle for me. And hold that. Try that. This is one you can hold for 30 seconds or more. All right. So let's switch sides. I'm gonna do the arm behind the back, open up the chest a little bit, starting right underneath that shoulder, and try and relax into that ball. Let the muscles stretch around that ball. Find the really tight spots. There's one. Oh yeah. And relax around that. Slowly working your way in with the muscle fibers. If you do have to move down, just take the pressure off to move down. All right. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna do that same stretch. I'll give you a little bit of a different angle here. Left hand out, right hand down, pushing and rotating. I can bring my foot over and around. So that's a little bit lower. I like to go hand up higher. And hold that 30 seconds. Okay, so I love that chest stretching. A lot of us are way tighter in our chest than we think we are. A lot of the stuff we're doing from day-to-day life is forward. We're bringing our shoulders forward all the time. So whether that's typing on the computer, whether that's on your phone, eating, whatever it is, we really tighten our chest. Once we open that up and we strengthen our backs, we can fix our posture. Actually, it's gonna be one of those stretches you should do every day. I like to do that stretch as much as possible, and that really fixes my posture, makes my back feel way better, and hopefully does the same for you. So next week, tune in again. We'll be maybe adding some roller stuff in. So again, try and get that roller. If you already have one, awesome. We'll try and do some stuff next week with that. All right, have a good one, guys. See ya.